Okay, we're live.
All good. Okay. So, good evening to all my dear friends, and very good morning to all the college board members on the other side of this Earth planet. So, Harish, I'm going ahead now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So a very good evening to all of my officers on this webinar. And today is Harish and Linda, a special day for us. We started this MOU with a secretary, a dynamic secretary, RS Praveen Kumar, an IPS officer. And now we have another vibrant secretary, Sri Ronald Rose, IAS officer. Because of some reasons, he is still stuck in his workplace. I think he should join us, but he has sent apologies if he could join late. Why I'm telling about the former secretary R.S. Praveen Kumar is today is his 54th birthday, a special day for all of us. R.S. Praveen Kumar is a veterinarian doctor and a cop and a great transformer in our society. It completely transformed the system, the education system in the social welfare. So wishing him a very happy birthday to Dr. R.S. Praveen Kumar. I will take a lead on this within the time frame. I will not take much time because already we have passed 18 minutes though. So friends, today we have a great session with the college board management, and let me introduce about the college board, which is a mission driven and a not-for-profit organization which is connecting the thousands of students to college success and opportunity. Founded in 1900, College Board was created to expand access to higher education. Higher education, when I say higher education in the best of the best of the best schools and the universities, and it's made up of over 6,000 of the world's leading educational institutions, and is dedicated to promoting excellence and equity in education. Each year, it helps more than 7 million students prepare for a successful transition to college through programs and services in colleges, particularly college readiness and college success, including the SAT, the Advanced Replacement Program, and a big future for them. The organization also serves the education community through research and advocacy on behalf of students, educators, and schools. So I should really thank Harish Menon, who is a crucial guy in this. Initially, I do not know how many days we have spent, how many sessions we have spent to come into this stage. The senior director finance of the college board, and who helped us in finalizing an MOU between the TSVERIS and the college board, particularly for making 9th class students to understand about what is SAT, what is preparatory SAT, and after 12th, giving a kind of orientation and most on vouchers also for all the best shortlisted students. Thanks, Harish. And my special thanks goes to Linda, Vice President of SAT International College Board. She spent lots of time. I don't know how much time she has really spent on this, but I can witness because today almost, if I'm not wrong, 62 students are very seriously preparing for upcoming SAT examination scheduled in the month of December. And also now with that motivation, see, I always remember an acronym. If I'm not wrong, the acronym says like this. AGES. A stands for awareness, and A stands for aspiration, G stands for goal, E stands for effort, and S for success. So unfortunately, our students are not aware about this great opportunity of SAT. So it is the college board. It is one of my friend, Mr. Pramod, if I'm wrong, I should not miss his name, who connected the college board, Harish Menon and others, wherein we have and now a very good kind of awareness When I was talking to the parents, they belongs to the poorest of the poor, very low income group. Now they are discussing about the Ivy League institutes in the remote places in India. That is the beauty of this college board mentoring and support to these students. So tons of thanks to the entire college board team. Friends, in this webinar, we have very senior most academic leaders. We have the joint secretaries at academic 1, academic 2, academic 3. When I say joint secretaries, they will take care of entire school education, right from 5th class to the intermediate. And we have a very powerful leader, Joint Secretary Acad 1, Srimati Ananta Lakshmi. She takes care of kind of monitoring of entire teaching and pedagogy across all the 238 schools we have. And we have the Joint Secretary Acad 2, who is specially focused on some vocational colleges we have, and all 10+2 colleges they will take care of. And Joint Secretary Acad 3, she will take care of completely on Center of Excellences, as I told you in my last discussion, wherein we have a special kind of education, coaching, training towards sending students into the medical schools and engineering schools, something like this in India. And all these JS Acads, they play a crucial role in transforming the lives of hundreds of lakhs of the students. And with this, we have a Deputy Secretary, Srimati Venkat Lakshmi Garu. She's a senior most lecturer in English, and now she worked as a principal and various levels, and she came to head office and now trying to do lots of academic transformation across all these spaces. And we have a senior most colleague, Ms. Ms. Prashanti. She works on assessment. So she's the controller of examinations, and she has done lots of experiments like introducing freedom schools, introducing a future parenting program, making parent as a stakeholder of this institution, and several other training programs she'll take care of. And one more important person we have, Mr. George Warke. He is a CAMO, in short we call as a Chief Academic Monitoring Officer. He will be continuously throughout the year lots of capacity building programs, training programs, particularly to the teachers and also to the students. And I think there's no need for you to introduce about the Gracina. Gracina is really something special. That's why we call her as a special officer. Talent management, I don't know what to say, talent management or talent acquisition or talent dash, but she is really working 24/7 for our organization, particularly on two important aspects, wherein after 10+2 what, like college readiness, like they have to go into the primary institutes. Now students are aiming at top-notch institutions within India like Plaksha, Kriya, Jindal, Flame, Ashoka University. And now with your support, now they're aiming to enter into Ivy League institutions, a dream come true project it is. So we have to we have to see really how best it goes in coming days. And besides all these officers, all it's happening because of two important other officers. One officer is called as a regional coordinating officer. I call them as the mini secretaries. On ground, every region has an officer. Entire the state has divided into 13 clusters, and each cluster has got a regional coordinating officer, and they will take care of entire administration of the schools and the colleges. They're awesome people. All they have joined. Today morning, they have told about the importance of this project and they have joined. And thanks to all the RCOs who they work on both, like they're kind of academic administrators, I can say. I do not know whether there's a word called academic administrator. Why I'm saying that is good in administration and also they are very good in academics. They will monitor both on the ground, the RCOs, and ultimately, my special thanks goes to great people like principals. Principals, they act like a parent. They act like a parent in the institution. And with these principals, we have a coordinator, a very dedicated coordinator. They all have joined now. We say as a HEC coordinator. Actually, working in my institute is, lots of other works than the academics also, because this is a residential setup. They should work as a house parent. They should take care of lots of other extracurricular and co-curricular activities. But besides this, these teachers, some of the best teachers, they act as the HEC coordinator. We are also doing a wonderful program with the organization called as IC3, where in the curriculum itself, we are trying to make our students to understand what is their preparedness for the future. For example, they are studying a topic called as, let's say, photosynthesis in the class 6th, and now they will be told that what is the future of photosynthesis when you come out of 10th or intermediate or degree, like where you had to go. That is what we call as the college readiness. That is being started in the recently, and all these are happening because of these HEC coordinators. So all these people are there, and also top on this, we have now thousands of students who join this across 238 institutions in the state, and all is set. Just they are waiting for Harish and Linda and other college board people to have this, to enjoy this session. So thank you very much, Linda and Harish, and thanks to Gresina. And from here after, Gresina will take care of. Thanks, Gresina. Over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Good morning to the College Board team. It's early in the morning for you. Thank you so very much for taking time out. And a very good evening to everyone here on this webinar. I am Gresina Prakash, Special Officer for Talent Management. Thank you, Mamidala sir, for giving us such nice words about me. Thank you very much. So it gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the information session that is being hosted by College Board. Before we begin the session, there are a few things that I'd like you to keep in mind. This is for all my students. I'd like you to make as much as copious notes as possible, because this is definitely going to be a very informative session. Along with that, I'd also like to inform you that I'd like you to use the question and answer option that we have here, and post your questions so that they will be answered towards the end of the session. Finally, after the session, you will be given a link. So there are 2 links that will be shared with you, one for the educators and the other for the students. I'd request you to fill in the feedback forms and submit to us. So now let's get into the session. So before we start, let me introduce you to the facilitator of the session. So Linda Liu, she's the Vice President International for the College Board, and she leads the College Board's work to provide opportunities for students outside the United States to connect with higher education in the US and globally through programs such as SAT and Advanced Placement. Since joining the College Board in 2007, that's about 14 years ago, Linda has played a key role in a variety of areas across the SAT program, organization-wide strategy, and partnerships. Under Linda's leadership, the organization has launched key initiatives like the India Global Higher Education Alliance, initiated access and equity efforts to support refugee learners and international students from low-income backgrounds, and forged key partnerships with Khan Academy, Code.org, and Project Lead the Way. Linda also serves as a spokesperson for the College Board on the transition to higher education globally. Prior to joining the College Board, Linda was a management consultant with Deloitte Consulting, advising some of the world's largest companies in the pharmaceutical, financial services, and professional services sectors. Linda holds a bachelor's degree in both economics and East Asian languages and civilization from the University of Chicago, and an MBA from the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. So that's Linda for us. Thank you so much, Linda. Very early in the morning, and I think you have an amazing crowd in front of you. The stage is all yours. Please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christina, and a really, really good evening to everybody from way across the other side of the planet, as Dr. Mamadala said. I am actually here sitting in New Jersey, which is actually right outside of New York, so the East Coast of the United States, and such an amazing, amazing opportunity for me to be with everyone today. So thank you, everybody, for joining and taking the time to be with us today. I will be sharing a set of slides with you, and Christina encouraged everybody to take copious notes. We will also be getting these slides out to you, so not too copious, but please do feel free to take notes as we go. And I am just going to make sure that. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Okay, Christina, can you see my slides? Is that in slideshow all set? Okay, all right. Again, yes. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak with all of the leaders, all of the students, and all of the educators that have joined us today. And let me start by saying that the College Board is just so excited and honored to be partnering with TSWRI to support the state of Telangana's initiative to support more students to be ready and successful in college, both in India as well as outside of India. I am particularly grateful to Secretary Kumar, Secretary Rose, Joint Secretary Mamadala for their commitment towards this initiative. It is quite clear to me that their passion for equity and excellence in delivering opportunities to all students is what continues to propel this work forward. And as Dr. Mamadala said, completely change the system for students across the state. The College Board's mission is also to connect students with success in higher education. So this work really resonates with us. And thank you. And thank you really to Dr. Mamadala, Christina, and all the other senior leaders here for the opportunity to speak with you today. And let me see, it looks like maybe we're not, are you seeing my notes, or are you seeing, you are seeing my notes, so let me see.
Yes, I can see your notes.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me see if I can.
Linda, if you start your slideshow and then click share screen, you should be able to see your slide deck as an option to share.
Okay, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. How about now?
We see it now.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that. Okay, so as I was saying, really, again, appreciate this opportunity to share more with you about the College Board, and really to support the great work of the state to connect all students to opportunities in higher education. Dr. Mamadala mentioned this. I am also joined by two of my colleagues today, Harish Menon, who has really been instrumental in helping us establish this partnership, and Kyu Jung, who you heard her voice right now. She's been running all of the behind the scenes work for us today to actually deliver the session. And all of us are actually very, very eager to come to Telangana at some point once we are able to travel and visit all of you. At this point, I think I've been to India about 10 times now. I've been very close to Telangana, but not quite there yet. And I've heard that Hyderabad is on the list of UNESCO's Creative City of Gastronomy. So very much looking forward to visiting and also tasting the cuisine. But here today, I am to tell you more about the College Board. So throughout the presentation today, I will actually be sharing some polls with you to, one, make sure that one, you're all paying attention, and two, to help me understand how much you already know about what I will be sharing with you. So in front of your screen here, for those of you who are in front of a screen, let's start with this first question here. This will also be launched as a Zoom poll, and I see many of you are answering this question, so please do so, and we'll give you about 15 seconds or so to answer this question. Dr. Mamadala earlier introduced a little bit about the College Board, but I'm curious to know how many of you are familiar with the College Board before that introduction. Okay, so it looks like we have quite a few people who are very familiar, about 45%, and about 55% of you are somewhat familiar or not at all familiar, and 9% of you who have never heard of the College Board. So with that, let me tell you a little bit more about the College Board. Again, Dr. Mamadala talked a little bit about this, but the only thing I will just sort of emphasize here is that the College Board is a membership-based organization. We are a not-for-profit organization founded more than a century ago, and many of the universities that the world has come to know as the Ivy League were actually universities which founded the College Board more than a century ago. This includes universities like Columbia, Princeton, and Cornell. And when we were founded, there was not a common objective metric through which universities were admitting students. And in many cases, only students who attended wealthy private schools within a certain vicinity of the university would be granted admission. And really the mission of the College Board at the time was to change that. And through programs like the SAT, provide universities with a common yardstick with which to understand student achievement and accept students into their universities, including students from all over the world and students from more disadvantaged backgrounds. And over the last century, the organization has really evolved into a global education organization, facilitating that transition from secondary into higher education. And our membership includes 6,000 of the world's leading schools, colleges and universities, as well as other organizations that support students on the path to college. In terms of the College Board's programs, while we are best known for the SAT, the College Board actually has numerous programs, which includes the College Readiness Assessments, SAT and PSAT. It also includes our curricular programs like AP or Advanced Placement, and our college planning and recruitment programs, such as our free website called Big Future. And lastly, for educators who are with us today, a host of thought leadership and professional development offerings. And in our time today, I will dive a bit into several of these, but know that the College Board is a vast organization that provides many of these different services and programs to support students as well as educators, again, in that transition from secondary into higher education. So let's try the next poll here. For all of you, how many countries and territories are College Board programs in? Let's see what you have to say about that. And unlike the other question, there actually is a right answer on this one. I'll give you another few seconds. All right, so many of you veered towards the higher numbers, but not the highest numbers. So that is actually correct. And so the correct answer is actually 185. So the College Board, each year through our programs, we serve about 7 million students across 195 different countries, making our programs probably some of the most accessible in the entire world. And when we sort of think about, why do so many students engage with College Board programs? The reason is because our programs really play a fairly critical role in helping students, helping universities understand a student's readiness for college. You may be aware that many universities around the world, particularly US universities, use what's called a holistic framework to evaluate student applications. There are essentially 4 components to the holistic admissions framework. And essentially what it means is that there's an attempt to understand the full student and the full set of experiences that the student comes from. And so the various different components first is academic accomplishment. And what does academic accomplishment mean? universities want to understand, is the student academically prepared to study at the university? And there are some things that they look at to determine whether or not a student is academically prepared for their particular institution. And this varies from institution to institution, but some of the things that they look at are secondary school grades. And in the case of all of you and students across India, it would be your boards. The second thing that they look at is standardized assessments, scores from standardized assessments like the SAT, because the curriculum across different schools, across different countries, across different systems varies widely. And so there needs to be some common benchmark across which universities can sort of look at to see, okay, how is student achievement across all of these different systems. And the other thing that they will also look at here is class rank, to just sort of understand your achievement in the context of your school and in the context of the background that you're coming from. So that's where the SAT plays a fairly critical role in terms of helping, again, understand academic accomplishment. But it is not the only thing that universities look at when they consider academic accomplishment. There are some of these other things as well. The other, the second component here is curricular rigor. So how rigorous was the curriculum that the student engaged in? Has the student appropriately challenged themselves to take the most challenging courses that are offered in their school? So when we look at this component, what is it that universities are looking at? They're looking at things like course pattern. What type of courses is a student taking? Are they taking, higher level math courses? Are they taking more advanced science courses if you're going into a more technical discipline, etc.? The other thing that they also look at is the type of coursework. And so this is where AP, or advanced placement coursework, comes in. AP is considered widely in the United States kind of the gold standard in terms of rigorous coursework that students can take when they're in secondary school. And so if a student's application or their transcript includes AP courses, universities will know that the student has engaged in very, very rigorous coursework. And then lastly is kind of pure achievement. Again, what is your achievement relative to others in your school? So for example, if all the other students in your class are taking calculus when they are in grade 12 and you are not, then it raises a little bit of an alarm bell with admissions officers in terms of why are you not doing that. The other thing that the universities look at is what's called environmental context. So what was the context in which the student achieved their success? What type of family environment do they come from? What type of responsibilities do you have in your family that may really be taking up your time, that might not allow you to focus as maybe more intently on your studies or pursue activities outside of the classroom? SES stands for socioeconomic class, and the resources that the student has, again, an indication of what is it that the student, the background of the student and what they're faced with in their day-to-day life, which may impact the type of academic achievement that they might see in the classroom, as well as the type of activities they may be involved in. And here, admissions officers sort of rely heavily on what's called the school profile, which is often provided by schools for them to get a sense for the environment of the school and understand the context in which the student is coming from. And then lastly is a set of what's called personal qualities. Do the students' personal qualities meet the university's mission and contribute to the success of the university? Every single university is different across the world, across the country, and every single university has a certain culture. And oftentimes you may hear, particularly if you're interested in a university abroad, hear this term fit. Are you a good fit for the university? It just means that the culture is a certain way, the campus is a certain way, and the way that they approach teaching and learning is a certain way. And so the students who will be successful on those particular campuses need to be able to fit well into that particular environment. And the way that admissions officers will often kind of evaluate that is looking at your personal statement. When you talk about, what really drives you and what is really important to you, is that a great fit for what the university is looking for? So for example, if you say that, I learn best in smaller environments. Well, if you're applying to a university that has, 100,000 students, it may not be the best environment for you, and may not be the best fit for you. Letters of recommendation come from your teachers, your counselors, and others in your life that have a great influence on you. Again, gives admissions officers a sense of who you are as a person and how others view you. Extracurricular activities and the interview, again, also feed into just a better understanding of who you are as a person, to really understand whether or not you are a good fit for the university. And universities do this not because they don't want you coming to their universities if you're not a good fit, but rather to make sure that when you come onto campus, the 3 or 4 years that you spend there are going to be very successful. If this is not an environment where you're going to fit into, it doesn't matter how highly ranked the university is. If you are not going to be successful there, it's not worth it. And you need to find a university that you would be able to thrive in for the next couple of years. So when you look across sort of this framework, as you can see, College Board programs, in particular the SAT as well as AP, play a fairly critical role in both helping universities understand a student's academic accomplishment and the rigor that they come from, or the rigor of the curriculum in which they come from. And in some systems, those may actually be the only component that universities pay attention to, which makes our programs fairly broadly applicable across many different education systems. And so nearly all colleges and universities in the US, and more than 700 universities in 85 other countries outside of the United States, report that they accept SAT or AP in admission or for credit or placement. Of the 700 universities outside the US that accept our programs, over 500 recognize the SAT. So this is, again, fairly broad in terms of where College Board programs can take you. And when we look a little bit more into some of these policies, here are some sample SAT policies. And in the last 2 years of this COVID crisis, it has been extremely difficult for many people, and we've seen disruptions really across the board in education. And universities around the world have, rightly so, been very flexible, or as flexible as they can be, with their admissions requirements, including their SAT testing requirements. Many have adopted what's called test optional or test flexible policies, where universities are not necessarily requiring that students submit their test scores because they understand the disruptions to testing, including to the College Board's programs like the SAT. However, they do continue to encourage or prefer students to take these assessments if they have the opportunity to do so, and submit their scores if they do have them, because as I noted earlier, it helps them to just better understand a student's academic abilities and their likelihood to be successful academically at the university. And in some cases, as with the University of Hong Kong, which you see their sample policy here at the bottom here, in addition to SAT scores, universities may also ask students to submit AP exam scores, particularly in specific disciplines that a student may wish to study in order to be able to complete their application. And as you look at some of the other examples here at NYU, at Purdue, both members of the College Board and extremely high quality universities in the world, both of them are extending flexibility to students in terms of whether or not they are able to take an exam and to be able to submit their scores. But if there is an ability for the student to take the exam, and if they can submit their scores, there is a preference to do so. If you are not able to take your SAT and not able to submit those scores, in no way does it harm your application, but there is a preference for that. So here are some examples of that. Now let's move on to the next poll question, and if we can launch that. How many Indian universities use the SAT for admissions? Because India is among one of the countries where the SAT is used for admissions into universities. All right, it seems like many of you, some of you know the answer to this question. Great. So, so it looks like about a third of you do know the answer to this question, and the answer is 43. So 43 universities across India use the SAT for their admissions processes. You can see here the list of universities that the College Board has been working with to expand our work. And this started back in 2018, where we made a concerted effort to expand our work with universities across India by establishing what we call the India Global Higher Education Alliance. And a key feature of this alliance is that member universities, all universities in India, agreed to participate and to accept the SAT as part of their admissions process. And today, about 43 are accepting the SAT as part of their admissions process. And you can see here, this includes some universities that are popular in the region, like SRMAP, Kriya, and Geetam, as well as universities with national and international prominence, like IIM Ranchi. Here, some examples. For example, at IIM Ranchi, the SAT is one of 3 exams that students use to gain admission into their actually newly established integrated BBA MBA program. At SRMAP, the SAT can be used as an alternative to exams like the JEE. And at Kriya, an SAT score may allow a student to receive a confirmed offer even before their board exam scores are available. So many different ways in which universities across the country are using the SAT to connect with students and provide a pathway into their universities. Now let's move on. Now that you've learned a little bit more about how the SAT is recognized by universities both outside of India and within India, let's go to this next poll and see what you might know about the SAT. So which statement here best describes the SAT? We'll give you a minute to read it. Well, the good thing is none of you are selecting the last option, as parents tell their kids that they must take, although that probably happens as well. I'm sure many of the kids who are joining us today have their parents telling them to do many different things, including taking exams. However, you have not chosen that as the best answer. That's right. So the answer here is B, university admission test that covers reading, writing, and math, and accepted by universities in India, US, and 80 plus other different countries. The SAT is actually consists of 2 sections: evidence-based reading and writing, and math. It really focuses on just the core skills that students need to be successful in higher education. And that's why, it doesn't cover the gamut in terms of all the different disciplines and all the different subjects that you might take in secondary school, but really just focuses on evidence-based reading and writing as well as math, because what we found is that those 2 areas really have an outsized impact in terms of your ability to be successful in college. And the length of the SAT is 3 hours. It is graded on a score of on a 400 to 1600 point score scale, with each of the sections evidence-based reading and writing, and then the math section, separate sections, on a 200 to 800 point scale. And you can see some of the highlights here in terms of how many questions are on the SAT in each of the different sections, how much time is granted to each of the different sections here. But the other thing I want to really share with all of you is that the SAT is actually part of a suite of assessments which spans grades 8 through 12. And as the name implies, the SAT suite of assessments is not a single assessment, because what our research tells us is that college and career readiness is not a point in time. It's a process. that requires students to focus on what matters most to be on track for college. And that is why we offer a suite of 3 assessments that are tied to each other, not only through the common content, but through a common scale that measures student growth in readiness, allowing students and educators to understand student progress over time. So the suite begins with the PSAT 8-9, which serves as a foundation for understanding the student's readiness for college in the 8th and 9th grades. At that point, no one's expecting students to be acing the SAT or be completely ready for college. It is just a barometer at that point to see how ready you are. What are some of the things that you might need to work on in order to be ready when you are in grade 12. Next comes the PSAT and MSDT and PSAT 10 to provide a check-in on student progress along the way and really helps to pinpoint the areas for improving readiness, because you are not far away from the end of secondary school and really close to that transition into higher education. And finally, the SAT, which provides really that powerful connection to college and are the scores that universities will want to see in kind of evaluating your application. And you can see here, a kind of sample or guiding timeline in terms of when is typical for students to take these assessments. Although the PSAT exams, much like the SAT, also focuses on math and evidence-based reading and writing, as I mentioned earlier, the specific content on each assessment is slightly different in that it is grade appropriate. This slide shows an example of how math varies between the PSAT 8-9, PSAT 10, and SAT, recognizing that students learn different things when they are at different grade levels, and as they progress, should have mastered more advanced skills. So for example, on the PSAT 8-9, more questions with fewer steps required to solve those will be on the PSAT 8-9, whereas the SAT will emphasize more on multi-step problems, really trying to get at a student's problem-solving ability. In the 8th or 9th grade or on the PSAT 8-9, it may require the use of common geometry equations, but on the SAT, again, a little bit more advanced, will require more use of geometry concepts in order to be able to solve problems. Therefore, you can't just apply an equation to solve a problem. You would have to really think about the types of equations that you might need to use and really leverage geometry concepts, for example. And then on the kind of ratios and proportions, on the PSAT and A9, it might require the student to use properties of right triangles to solve problems, as an example. But on the SAT, since many students at that point would have taken trigonometry, we would expect students to be able to leverage trigonometry and solve those problems on the SAT at that point. So again, just grade appropriate content for each of these, but all vertically linked so that a student, again, can get a good understanding of, are they on that path to college readiness and an indicative score at those earlier grades of how they may do in the future. And let me talk a little bit more about the PSAT 8-9. And as I noted earlier, students can take this as early as grade 8. It begins to establish that baseline for students, and the results from this exam are intended to be diagnostic and informative only, so that as a student and the teachers who support the students can understand what it is that the student needs to start focusing on as they approach the 10th standard grade. Unlike the SAT, the PSAT 9 is a school-based assessment, meaning that only your school can order and administer these exams to students in their school. There are not public test centers where students can go take the PSAT 8-9. And so for schools that are interested, there is a great deal of flexibility for your school to choose a date on which to administer the exam within a fairly large testing window. And you can see some of the dates here on these slides here. Again, no need to copy all of this down. We will make these slides available to you afterwards. But for schools that are interested and want to start students a little bit earlier on that journey to college, starting in the 8th and 9th grade, with this assessment, again, will allow you to have a great deal of information very early on in terms of whether or not students are on that path to college. And then in grades 10 and 11, students can take the PSAT 10 or the PSAT NMSQT. These are actually the same tests, just given in different timeframes. In the United States, the PSAT NMSQT is also tied to a national scholarship called National Merit, but that would not be applicable for students in India. However, much like the PSAT 8-9, it gives students an earlier indication of whether they are on track for college and a sense of how they might perform on the SAT when the time comes. These are also both school-based exams and ordered and administered by schools. Schools can administer the PSAT 10 in specific testing windows in February, March, and April, whereas the PSAT NMSQT is only given in October of each year. Now let's look at another poll here and a little bit more information about the SATs. So let's see if you guys can tell us which of the following is not a feature of the SAT. I'll give you a minute or a couple of seconds to read this. So I'm so glad that so many of you are following along and answering the poll. Okay, great. Let's see. So very mixed results and pretty evenly split across all of the options that we have here. But the correct answer is E. So the SAT, all of the above are features of the SAT, except the last point, which is that it is accepted for graduate level programs. The SAT is largely accepted or perhaps exclusively accepted for undergraduate programs and is not part of the set of assessments that would be accepted for a master's or PhD programs. Those would be a separate set of assessments, just like I explained to you how we have a suite of assessments that spans different grades, PSAT 8, 9, 10, SAT. It's the same thing for the master's programs. There's an expectation of a different level of skills and content understanding at that point, which the SAT really does not focus on, because we focus on kind of that undergraduate experience, and that's where the content is pitched. However, all of the other features are indeed part of the SAT. And the SAT is administered 5 times per year. The next, and you can see all of the dates here, in general, every year it's in the same time frame when the SAT is offered, but these are the specific dates for the 2021-2022 school year. The next administration of the SAT is actually just in a couple weeks on December 4th. And I know many of the students who are listening in, and Dr. Mamadala mentioned this as well. There are quite a few students who are going to be taking the SAT. I think 60 or so students who will be taking the SAT in December. So very excited for them. And if you are interested in taking the SAT, the deadline for registration is typically a month before the test for anyone who is not registered to take the exam in December, but want to do so in the future. The next opportunity will be in March, March 12th to be exact, and students must register by February 11th for that particular exam. Across India, there are about 106 test centers in more than 50 cities where students can sit for the exam, including 11 in Telangana, though most of them are in Hyderabad. We are looking forward to working with schools across the state to open up more SAT test centers in the future so that students have this opportunity to take the exam in a location that is convenient for them. So very much looking forward to that as part of this partnership with the state. Students can take the exam at any time, starting as early as grade 9, but it is not recommended. Again, the reason why we have the suite of assessments is because we want students to be taking what's kind of grade appropriate content for them, because if you take it in the 9th grade and you don't do well on the SAT, it may have absolutely nothing to do with how academically prepared you are. It's just more a matter of you have not covered that content. And so taking it in grade 9, we don't expect you to do well on the SAT, but we don't want any student taking it that early to sort of think that they're not prepared for it, because you just need a couple more years of schooling and a couple more years of more advanced classes that you will be taking in order to be prepared. So really the ideal time to take the SAT is in the latter half of grade 11 or early in grade 12. And that is generally the most common pattern for students when taking the SAT, to take it for the first time in kind of that second half of grade 11 and retake it early in grade 12 if they wish to improve their score, because there are also no limitations to how many times the students can take the SAT. And most students tend to take it twice to make sure that they've maximized their scores. And unlike many other exams in India, the SAT scores are valid for 4 years. So if you take the SAT in grade 11 and decide to submit it as part of your application to college in 2 years, it's still valid. If you, for whatever reason, have to defer college for a year, 2 years, etc., and need to use your scores at a later point, that's fine, and you can still do so. This just gives students more flexibility to take the SAT when things may not be as hectic for them, with board exams and perhaps other responsibilities in their life. So again, we really built this assessment to be able to provide that degree of flexibility and provide those benefits to students. And many students ask, what's the best way to prepare for the SAT? The good news is that expensive coaching is not required. The best way to prepare is actually just to focus on what you're learning in the classroom, because the content on the SAT reflects and assesses the skills that you're already learning every day. So don't forget to listen to your teachers and study hard in the classes that you are already in. And obviously, since the test is in English proficiency and reading widely is very important as well in terms of being well prepared for the SAT. Beyond that, the College Board has a partnership with Khan Academy to actually provide free SAT practice to all students. And it's called Official SAT Practice through Khan Academy. I know many of the schools are leveraging this tool to help your students get ready for the SAT. So that's really great. And we're really, really grateful that you are using these tools that we've put out there, because again, that's what they're for. This is an online tool that can be accessed at any time for free. The practice is personalized to what you as a student really needs to work on. So you can really target your practice and focus on the areas where you might be a little bit weak, rather than continuing to practice things that maybe you have already mastered. All the questions in the program are created by the same people who write the test questions. So you can be sure that they are as close to what you'll see on test day as possible. And beyond just preparing for the SAT, the program really focuses on building the skills that students need to be successful in college. It's not just about taking the test. So hopefully all of you will take advantage of this really incredible free resource that we've developed with Khan Academy and continue to refine with them. So next, for students in India, the College Board actually provides some unique supports. And in this next poll, let's see if all of you know what some of those supports might be. Should at least know one of them. And again, we'll give you a couple of seconds to read this question and to answer the question. Maybe at this point, this is feeling a little bit like you're taking the SAT. All right, well, on this question, many of you did very, very well. The answer is all of the above. So, so one of the things that was really, really important to the College Board as we expanded our work in India is to make sure that our commitment to access and equity is clear throughout the work that we do. And much like Tasree, the College Board has a significant commitment to access and equity, both in India as well as across the globe, and ensuring that all students can benefit from the SAT, regardless of their income levels, or where they come from, or their class or status that they have. So we offer 2 programs specifically in India to support students. First is an SAT fee reduction voucher, which allows students who come from more lower income backgrounds to take the SAT at a significant discount. So it's a 90% discount if your family income is less than 8 lakhs per year, and a 50% discount if your family income is less than 15 lakhs per year. Through this, we hope that affordability does not deter any student from using the SAT to demonstrate their readiness for college. And we're very, very excited and very pleased that through this partnership, we're able to offer this more deliberately to all of the students here, and to work with the states to make sure that students are taking advantage of this opportunity. And again, not letting affordability deter them from taking advantage of this great opportunity. The second program is called the College Board India Scholars Program, where the College Board actually partners with Indian universities that are part of our India Global Alliance to fully fund the tuition for any scholarship recipient for the entire duration of their undergraduate program. So if it's a 3-year undergraduate program or a 4-year undergraduate program, a student will receive a tuition waiver for for that entire time frame. This is a merit cum need program that is only open to students whose family income is less than 8 lakhs per year. And let me share a little bit with you in terms of what the steps are to earn this scholarship. And the steps are fairly straightforward. First, take the SAT. This is a scholarship that is for students in grade 12, but take the SAT is kind of the first step. Earn what we call our top performer status, and that means earning a 1300 or higher on the combined 2 sections of the SAT. Once you are identified as a top performer, you will be notified via email that you have achieved that status, and then applying to an India Global Alliance member university. I showed you the list of 40 or so universities. A subset of those are participating in this program. And so if you apply to one of those universities and you come from a household that earns less than 8 lakhs per year and gain admission into that university, and the university nominates you for the scholarship, then you are eligible to receive it. Of course, you mustn't enroll at the university that accepted and nominated you for that scholarship. But if all of those pieces fall in place and you enroll in that university, then you will be eligible to receive the scholarship. And again, it is a partnership between the College Board and the university, and allows students to have tuition waived for the entire duration of their undergraduate experience. So it is a fairly significant benefit. Again, we offer this because we do not want affordability to deter any talented students from being able to access really high quality higher education opportunities in India. So next poll question here. Let me talk a little bit about some of the other College Board programs. So let's start with this one poll here about other College Board programs. So what is the name of the College Board's free college planning resource? We've mentioned it a couple of times here, so hopefully many of you will know. All right, let's see. So many of you thought it was the SAT. Some of you knew the answer. It's actually a resource that we call Big Future. And Big Future, let me talk a little bit about that, is a free college planning resource that's available to all students. One of the most powerful resources, so it has a whole set of resources on it, but one of the most powerful features of Big Future is a college search tool, which allows you to put in different filters to identify universities that might be a good fit for you. So for example, if you want to attend university in a big city or maybe a small city, or if you're interested in playing certain sports or participating in certain types of activities, you can put all of that into the tool, and it will help you filter out the universities that offer those types of programs, because when you look at different universities, it's important to consider all of those different factors. Again, thinking about what you as a student really want and want your experience to look like. There's thousands of universities out there that could satisfy that kind of set of criteria that you have, just as universities have criteria for accepting students into their universities. You as students have criteria as well in terms of which universities would be best fit for you and where you would be most likely to be successful. And if you are interested in studying abroad, there is also a host of other resources on Big Future to help guide you through the process and help you understand what those various different steps are. It includes, some of the things that I have talked to you about today, but in a much more depth. So that hopefully will be a very helpful resource that students here can use. To really take advantage of all of the tools and resources on Big Future, we do encourage students to create a College Board account, and you can see here the link to do so. Again, we'll send out this deck, so you will have this for reference. So no need to jot this down. But this is also the account that students will use to register for the SAT. So again, we do encourage students to sign up for this account as early as possible in their secondary school experience, because it allows you to get just a host of really valuable information. And when the time comes, also allows you to register for the SAT and other College Board assessments. Another program that the College Board offers is called CSS Profile. I noticed on the poll that none of you chose that option, which is correct. It is not a college planning tool. CSS Profile is another College Board program. It is actually a common financial aid application for institutional financial aid, largely for universities that are in the US or in Canada. And so this application allows students to apply for financial aid that is provided by the university, that is purely need-based, not merit-based. So it's going to be based on your family income and your financial background. More than 400 universities in the US and in Canada use CSS Profile to better understand the financial background of a student and their family's financial situation to determine how much financial aid to offer to that student. This is particularly important for international students who don't qualify for any other form of financial aid except what institutions offer. If you are a US citizen or a student in the US, the federal government and state governments offer financial aid, but if you are an international student, the only aid that you would qualify for would come from institutions. So this is an important tool for students to be aware of. The CSS Profile application is typically available by October 1st for applying for financial aid in the following school year. And most universities have their own deadlines for when the application must be filed. So do keep that in mind as you research your options and as you kind of put together your plan for applying to universities. Also in sort of this financial aid realm, the College Board also publishes a tool for international students and educators, meaning students and educators outside of the United States, which shows the amount of financial aid that different institutions award to students outside of the US. Not all universities award financial aid to international students, but we know that for many students, the cost of an undergraduate education, particularly outside of India, is truly astronomical. I know that through the incredible work that Joint Secretary Mamadala, Christina, and the entire leadership team here is doing with this initiative, it will make an undergraduate education abroad feasible for so many deserving students, as Joint Secretary Mamadala mentioned earlier. This dream of going to an Ivy League college in the United States can be real for so many deserving students in the state. This tool, we hope, will also help provide some further insight into which universities, particularly in the US, might be more generous in terms of awarding financial aid to international students and helping students afford a really high quality higher education experience. So again, another great tool to have in your toolkit. We are running out of time a little bit, but let me just very, very quickly talk about the AP programs for those of you who are not familiar with AP. It is an internationally recognized academic program with 38 different university level courses and exams across 7 different disciplines. You can see that on this slide here. AP courses and exams are pitched at the first year university level, but students can take these courses while they are in grades 10 through 12. So really advanced coursework for students, and it is intended to really demonstrate the rigor with which the students are engaging in the coursework that they are taking. It's very similar to IB or Cambridge A levels, and this program, has been in place since 1955. And as I mentioned earlier, in the United States, it really is the gold standard in terms of rigorous coursework that students can engage in when they are in grades 10, 11, and 12. And today, in addition to every university in the United States, universities in more than 60 countries recognize AP for admission, scholarship, or credit purposes. And unlike some other programs, the AP program is actually quite adaptable and flexible, meaning schools can choose which courses they offer students, all 38 or just one, and students can choose how many AP courses or exams they take as well. And each course comes with it an end of course exam. And some of the additional benefits to taking the AP exam is that students who score a 3 or higher on their AP exam will not only be able to meet admissions requirements at some universities, it also helps them to stand out in the college application process. I showed you earlier this slide in terms of where the curricular rigor fits into that process and how that kind of functions and the role that AP has there. It is only one factor in terms of determining rigor, but an important factor nonetheless. And if you are looking at North American universities, once you enroll at a university, having performed well on these AP exams, it will allow you to place into more advanced level courses when you are actually in college, so that you may graduate earlier from college or take just more advanced, more interesting courses that you may wish to. It also means that if you're able to graduate early, saving a lot of tuition dollars. So we see that as a significant benefit for many students. AP exams are typically given in the first half of May, with some late testing available in the latter part of May, but May is usually our testing month. There are 23 test centers across India, including 2 in Hyderabad, where students can take these exams. Unfortunately, for this year, the registration deadline for AP exams for 2022 is over. There is a late registration deadline, which ends on March 9th, but there is a $40 late registration fee for anyone who registers in the late period. So this may be just something for students to keep in mind for future years. So with all of that, thank you so much for your attention and all of the time that you have spent with me. I know we're running a little bit short on time, but in the remaining time that we have, I did want to make sure that I take a little bit of time to answer any of your questions. So I'm going to ask my colleague Harish, who has been monitoring the chat and the Q&A, to see if we have any questions that we might want to answer here. So Harish, do we have any questions from the audience?
Thank you, Linda, for that. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. And namaskaram, everyone. Thank you all for submitting in your questions. I've been answering them live while Linda was presenting. So thank you so much for your questions, and thank you for your attention and your patience and your attendance today. Your questions were very informative. It looked like you were paying attention during this presentation. So thank you so much for that. Linda, I've been answering all the questions that have been coming in, but perhaps you could address this one question that came in, which was, the admission season has already started in India, in US, around the world. Specifically to our students who are currently in grade 12, what advice would you give them to prepare for the US as well as India college admission process?
Sure. And I'm going to just stop sharing my slides so that I can see the screen here. For those students that are in 12th grade right now, if you are interested in studying in the US, it is actually not too late to apply. Many US universities have admissions. They typically do 2 rounds of admissions. One is an early round where the admissions deadline has largely passed. That is generally November 1st. And then another round, which actually the deadline is in January, sometime between January 1st through the 15th. It depends on the university that you're applying to. So it is not quite too late at this point. I would say that, there are some credentials that you need to make sure that you do have in order to be able to apply to those universities. So if you are interested, please make sure that you leverage the Big Future resource that I talked about in terms of learning a little bit more about the process and the things that you need to do there. I think the most important thing I would say is that, really think about what it is that you want and the environment where you will thrive in. It doesn't matter that your best friend wants to go to the University of so-and-so or, the college or whatever. It really comes down to what do you think is going to be a best fit for you? And also doesn't really matter what the ranking of the university is. It doesn't have to, I think all of us would perhaps like to go to Harvard or Yale or Princeton. But the vast majority of universities in the United States and around the world, I would say, really do an incredible job in terms of preparing students for the next step, which is career. And so you can be very confident that if you're going to pursue this route, you are going to be getting an incredible experience that will prepare you well for careers. I think for India, many of the universities that we work with across the country may have started their admissions process, but that extends well into March, May, June, July timeframe. So you do have time in terms of submitting those applications. Again, the thing I would just really encourage for all the students here is that to really think more broadly about what would be a good option for you. In particular, in the last 10, 15 years or so, the options for really high quality universities in India have just exploded. And there are so many really, really incredible universities that really rival the Ivy Leagues, the Russell Group, et cetera, around the world, and really encourage you to think more about those options in India. We've already talked about some of them, Korea, Ashoka, et cetera. You saw some of those in the list that I shared earlier. So would encourage all students to keep an open mind and really try to think about all the different options, which may be a great fit for you.
Great answer. Thank you so much, Linda. Linda, we are at time, so I think we should close this out. Perhaps if I can request Gracina to help us close that out, but any final thoughts, Linda?
I just really wanted to say thank you to Dr. Mamadala, to Gracina, to all of the leaders and all of the educators and all of the students who joined us today. Again, we are just so incredibly excited to be partnering with the state, to be partnering with all of you to support students on their journey to college. There is nothing more meaningful that I feel like we could all be doing in our work other than to create these opportunities for such deserving students. So again, thank you for this opportunity. We look forward to further sessions like this in the future. And of course, Harish, Q, myself, all really look forward to coming to India very soon once borders are open and we can travel easily across countries. But again, thank you for this opportunity today and this partnership. And thank you again to Dr. Mamadala for having us, and Gracina for putting all of this together.
Gracina, would you like to help close this out now?
Thank you, everyone. For some reason, I'm not able to start my video. I think the host has to enable me. Yeah, that's right. So thank you all very much. Linda, I must say you're a very good facilitator. I just couldn't get my eyes off the session, and you're very interactive as well. It's very difficult to make a session interactive, especially when it's Zoom, and then with the poll questions, very, very good ways of making the session interactive and giving them the answer before you take them through that session. Yeah. So it was really nice. Thank you so much for your time, Linda. In fact, we look forward to many more sessions, and I think Mamidala sir will agree with me. We definitely would like to play the host when you're in India. So we definitely would like you to come here and also have the taste of how the education system here in Telangana is. Yes, and maybe you can come up with many more programs for us. Yeah. And thank you, Harish. You are the center of everything. I cannot thank you enough. You are immaculate, like I already said, meticulous with your work. Your planning is awesome. So thank you so much for all the time. And also, I look forward to many more collaborations in this journey. I'd like to thank Mamidala sir. Despite your busy schedule, you've taken time out and you're here still in the office and managing so many things. So thank you so much, sir, for encouraging us and this support. I'd like to also thank Kim. She's been there trying to iron out all the challenges. So thank you very much. I'd also like to thank all the teachers, the HSC coordinators. My special thanks to the HSC coordinators. Thank you so much for your patience. I know initially it was not very easy for you to log in, but you know, Murphy's law always gets into action. Yeah. So that's the you know, you should always be on your toes. If things are very easy and smooth, then there's nothing special about it. Yeah. So I think but then everybody managed to get onto the call. I already requested Harish if you could share the recording with us. So don't worry, I will share the recording of the session with all the HEC coordinators, the principals, and the PPT as well. We will now also share the link, the feedback link to the educators as well as the students. And we'd like to hear from you how you felt the session has been. We'd like to get your information so that we're able to also keep a track of how your career is going to go and also be in touch with you. The College Board would like to be in touch with you. And I'd like to thank the principals, RCOs, and all the officers who've taken time out to be on this call. So thank you very much. Mamidala sir, would you like to say a few words before we close for the day?
Nothing left for me, Gresina. Thank you very much, Harish, and thanks to Linda and entire College Board management, and a special thanks to the principals on this meeting. I can see some of the principals posting very good questions and also making students to join this wonderful session. As Gresina requesting Linda or Harish, if at all, if you come down to India sometime, maybe end of this year or December is a good time, or Jan. Hope Corona should not disturb us. The third phase or fourth phase, I don't know how it's going on, but if you can come down, that will be great for our teachers and students as well. I really enjoyed the session after a long time. This was my session. Like I spent almost 90 minutes. I really enjoyed the session. Thanks, Linda. Thank you, Harish. And thanks, everyone. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone. I